Today I want to talk about deconstructed egg salad and how it can help you figure out what to sell on Etsy. I promise I'm not going crazy. Let's go. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Handmade and Beyond podcast. Glad to be back with you guys as usual. I am your host, LL, your guide through your Etsy journey to help you start, build, and grow your business. Hopefully help you along the way and make progress a lot faster, avoid mistakes, some of the same pitfalls and mistakes that I fell into throughout my 9-year Etsy journey. I want to help you move along a little bit faster than I did. That is my goal. So today I have a really good podcast for you, and I know I talked about deconstructed egg salad, and that's all going to make sense here in a little bit. I'm not going crazy. I promise you that. I am going to tie this back into today's topic. So, have you ever had deconstructed food? It's basically food that's presented in a way that's layered, where you can see all the ingredients instead of mashing them all together, such as egg salad, where you put all the ingredients in a bowl and you mix it all up. Deconstructed egg salad has layers with the eggs, maybe like a mayonnaise aioli, and then the celery layered in. So it's just a different way of presenting the food, so you can see all of the ingredients inside, and it's not all mixed and mashed together. Maybe once you get it, you want to mash it together, but initially it's presented in a way where you can see all the ingredients. So, tying this back to business, you can start an Etsy business using this same deconstructed concept, where you peel back the layers of a business to see what's inside and determine if A, is it a right business for you to start, B, how to go about starting it, and see all the layers so that you can peel back the layers and then put all the layers back together in the form of your own business. So you're deconstructing it and then reconstructing it in your own way, with your own flair, your own style, your own ideas, your own your own craft, so to speak. So today I'm going to give you 7 steps to deconstruct and start your own Etsy business. This is the same process I used when creating my own Etsy business, 9+ years ago. And this is something that even if you've started an Etsy business, maybe you want to start another business, or you want to reevaluate your own business, you can still use these concepts to peel back the layers of your own business or other people's businesses, to analyze them and then put that information back into your own business so that you can continue to grow, improve, and just build a bigger, better business so that you can meet your own goals. So let's dive into this. Let's start analyzing these steps. Jump right in. The first step is, of course, finding your niche. Niche. I get comments. People say it both ways. Tomato. However you say it, both ways are correct, according to Mr. Webster Man in the dictionary. So I say it, depending on what day you catch me on, I say it one way or the other all the time. But niche is basically what is your brand going to be? What's your vision going to be? What is your subject matter going to be? What are you passionate about or good at? This is what your business is going to be. Now, I have a warning for you. If you're doing this because you just only care about making a quick buck, you're not passionate about it, you don't really care about what you're doing, it's not going to last. You have to start a business with something that you're passionate about. It's something that you actually want to do, or you're going to lose interest really fast. This isn't a get-rich-quick thing. Etsy's not a get-rich-quick thing. It's not magic. You can't just open a business and you're going to get sales and have to sit back and not do anything. It's never going to work that way. So that is my warning for you. Make sure you're starting it for the right reasons, and make sure it's something that you actually are, that you care about, and it's something that you are passionate about. It's the only way that this thing is going to work. So sit down. What are you passionate about and or good at? You don't have to have both. At a minimum, you got to be passionate about it. You can learn the skill. You can teach yourself how to get better, how to get skilled. When I started my business, I wanted to start a clothing company. And as part of that, it was, I had to do screen printing. I never did screen printing at all in my entire life. I completely deconstructed that and learned and taught myself how to do screen printing. First, I was terrible, and then I got better and better and better at it. So it can be learned. Outside of being an artist, that you got to have some natural skill, I believe, when it comes to being, a really good artist, because that takes a lot of talent. But all these different trades, woodworking, screen printing, all these different things, knitting. You can embroidery. You can learn how to do these things if you really want to, as long as you have the passion. So make a list. What are you passionate and good at, or at least passionate at? Make a list, sit down, and then think through your list. What are going to be the number one thing that you really want to pursue? A number two thing is good to have as a fallback plan, but that will get you started to hone in on what your business is going to be. What is going to be the center of your business, your brand, your niche? What are you going to do? What's going to be the main aspect of your business? Something to help you guys out, I did put together an Etsy quick start guide that has a lot of these steps in there and some more information, so you can print it out, take notes, and you have something in front of you to look at, a guide. It's slightly different, but it has a lot of these same steps and resources in here that I'm going to talk about today. You guys can get that at handmadeandbeyond.com/quick start. Free download, get it downloaded, a couple pages long, easy read, but a lot of good resources in there to reference back to, because I want to make sure that you guys have a good framework to work from. All right, that brings us to step 2. This is really where the deconstruction starts. So what you have to do is, the main part of this is look at the top competition in the niche that you want to get into. Maybe it's furniture, maybe it's clothing, maybe it's, printables, such as either, printable art or print art downloads, or planners, stickers, mugs, whatever niche that you want to get into. This is where you have to start looking at the top competition in that niche to see kind of what they're doing. What are they actually selling? How well are they doing? And this will give you some of the information that you need and inspiration that you need to start putting your own business together. So you're figuring out your niche. What do you say you're doing woodworking? Okay, from there you gotta niche down further. What type of woodworking are you doing? Pipe shelving, wood pipe shelving. Is that what you're doing? So hone it down a little bit more. If you want to do clothing, for me, when I started my clothing business, I didn't just do all clothing. I honed in and did workout clothing. And then from there, you find the competition. What are the top shops in that niche? What are the top shops that does wood pipe shelving? Or at a minimum, furniture they also sell wood pipe furniture, and see kind of what they're selling, look at their listings, look at their sales, and put together your business as far as what you want to offer, what products you want to offer, what do you think are going to be good ideas with your own flavor, your own style. You're not taking their listing and copying it to you. There's 1,000 ways to do a wood pipe shelf, different wood, different stains, different pipe. Do your own style, but you're using that information to your advantage to figure out your product line, because you have to try and roll out a product line, not just a single product. You can't build a business around a single product. Usually, there are exceptions to that rule, but to be successful on Etsy, you have to at least start with a product line, and then build off that to add more listings. That brings more traffic. That gives you the information you need to see what's successful, what's not successful, and continue to do more of what is successful. So one of the things that you can do and you can use to be able to do this is, because if you're doing this on Etsy, it's really hard. You don't really see any stats of any shops. You can look at their shops sales, total sales, but you don't really know kind of in-depth numbers. So my favorite resource, of course, is Alora. As part of Alora, they have a competition tracker, so you can go and you can see the top shops in each niche, and then you can also take actual shop names or shop URLs and plug them in and kind of see the stats, see kind of their in-depth stats of all their listings, how many sales each listing is getting, how many how many visits each listing is getting, and kind of determine, okay, what is going to be a good potential idea for your shop without out the side of, not copying. But, if they're selling something that's not doing well, it's probably not something that you want to offer. If they have something that is doing well, maybe you want to offer your own style, your own brand of that particular item, or at a minimum use some of the same keywords that are applicable to what you're going to sell, what products you're going to sell, because that's another way that you can use that information in Alora, give you the best keywords, the best possible the best possible potential for success, because you can also use the keyword finder and type in a word and see how many sales that particular keyword is bringing in, how many visits that particular keyword is bringing in, and that will tell you, okay, this is probably a keyword that I want to use if it's relevant to my particular listing. So that is some of the legwork, the groundwork that you can do to give you the best chance of success. I can't guarantee your success, but I can certainly I can certainly lead you to water, so to speak, and you can use this information to your advantage to hopefully give yourself the best chance of success. You still have to put this all together at the end. You have to produce and make a great product, make good listings, do the legwork to have good keywords and SEO, but this is the framework that will get you there. And that brings us to step 3. Once you do this deconstruction, you analyze the top shops in your particular niche, look at their listings, see what they're selling. The next step is determine, how you're going to produce and make these items, and if you're going to be able to do that. So many sellers are very, very skilled. Like I said, most skills can be learned. So you can start small and learn these particular skills. So if this is something that you're seeing, so wood pipe furniture, okay, you want to offer this, you want to start this, deconstruct how people are making this type of furniture or these type of shelves. YouTube is a great resource to be able to, YouTube whatever you want to know, whatever you want to learn, and you're going to find probably 1,000 videos on how to do it. I remember when slime was a big thing. There's probably 1 million slime making videos, and then everyone and their brother was selling slime. It told you the ingredients to use, how to mix it together, how to package it. All that stuff can be found on YouTube for your particular niche. So if it's something that you want to learn, okay, YouTube is a great place to start. Deconstruct it. Can you make this? Is it something that you can at least learn, start out small, and then figure out, okay, this is something I can do, and then I'm going to start being able to get the materials and supplies, putting this stuff together just to make sure that you can do this. So basically, you're reverse engineering how these products are being made and making sure that you can do this. Now, if it's something that you're passionate about, but you're just like, I can't do this, there's no way that I'm going to be able to be skilled enough to do this, then you maybe want to find a partner. So you can design the stuff and hire a partner to actually make it, but you have to, at a minimum, design it. You cannot hire someone to design it and make it, because that is not allowed on Etsy. So you have to, at a minimum, have some part in designing it, putting it together as far as the design, and then have a manufacturer make it for you. That is allowed now on Etsy, but you can't completely outsource everything, because that'll get you shut down. Another option for you too is, and I don't talk about this much, is you can sell vintage items too. So you can be a reseller on Etsy and sell vintage. So this is stuff that you don't have to make, design, or manufacture. Vintage stuff is stuff that's 20 years or older that is allowed on Etsy. So your niche maybe be vintage toys or vintage clothing. So then you just got to go out and source that stuff, find out where you can get that stuff and resell it on Etsy. So that is a big part of the selling market on Etsy as well, and that may be a viable option. You may have more interest in doing that. So step 4 is kind of taking this to the next step. I kind of touched on this a little bit in step 3 and got ahead of myself. But step 4 is once you determine, okay, I'm going to make this, or I'm going to have someone else make this for me. If you're going to have someone else make this for you, that's fine. Then you got to work out that partnership. If you're going to make it, then you have to deconstruct where to get the materials from to make this stuff. Because you can find materials or order materials online, but to be cost efficient, you're probably going to have to try and get this stuff wholesale. Now, at first, don't be buying tons of stuff in bulk because you don't even know if you're going to like putting this stuff together, if it's even going to work out. You have to test it first and make sure that it's something that's viable for you. So maybe pay full price for it at the beginning and make sure that you can actually do it. And then down the road, you're going to need to get this stuff at wholesale. So you're going to have to find wholesalers online, which there's plenty usually for most niches. For pipe furniture, you can find a wholesale pipe seller that sells pipe at wholesale prices. You can get that in bulk, and then you can hopefully find out someone that sells wood, and you can get that at wholesale as well, which will save you a lot of money and increase your profit margin. Now, the one drawback to wholesale is most of the time you need an EIN number, which will allow you to get wholesale stuff and not have to pay sales tax on it. But you have to form an LLC to get an EIN. Now, LLCs aren't complicated or hard to form. Usually you can form them through your own. There's usually a company website, like for Florida, there's sunbiz.org. You can file an LLC for, I think it's $140, and then you can get an EIN number. And then you have to do an annual report, which is super easy, but you have to do that every single year for your LLC, which I believe your annual report is around $150 every year. And then you have to file sales tax quarterly, which Etsy collects sales tax. So really you just have to do the filing. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to report your sales totals and tell them that there's zero sales tax that you have to remit because Etsy does that for you. Not too hard to do, but that's something to keep in mind when you do want to go the wholesale route. It's going to behoove you to try and get stuff wholesale. The drawback of that is you have to have an EIN, which is gotten through an LLC. All right, so once you have your suppliers down, once you have the materials, step 5 is to test. Put this stuff together, figure out if you can do it. Make sure that you can create quality products, quality items to sell. If you're throwing stuff together that looks like a 5-year-old did it and you're trying to sell it on Etsy, it's not going to work out too well for you. You're going to get bad reviews. Most people probably aren't going to buy because they're going to see that it's a lower quality item when you're taking pictures, because your pictures have to be good and they have to be easy to see your item and see the detail and see the quality in your pictures. That's part of doing well on Etsy. So if your stuff is not high quality, it's going to be easy to see on the pictures. It's going to look like a dumpster fire and no one's going to buy it. So make sure that you can put stuff together in a quality way, an efficient way. Another thing too is time. If it's taken you 5 hours to construct something and it's only something that you can sell for $30, you're going to have to either move on to another niche or find a quicker way to put this stuff together or get better and more efficient at it. So think about that. If it's something that you know that, okay, I'm doing this slow on purpose, but I can get faster at it, then you'll probably be okay. But if it's something where you're like, man, the process to make this is just not going to get any faster, it's something that maybe you want to rethink that niche and go back to the drawing board, and that's fine. It's better to figure that out now in the early stages and then have to go back once your business is started and do this all over again once your business is already established and you hate it because it takes forever to make this stuff. So just practice it, be prepared, note the time that it takes, and how efficient you are at doing this stuff. All right, that brings us to step 6, which is launching. So you're good to go. You're good at making the stuff. You've made your first product line. You took high quality pictures. You put up the listings on Etsy. You got your shop in order. You've used Allura to come up with good keywords as far as your SEO, and you've done your keyword research. You've done all your research to be able to put quality listings up. So you launch your item. You can also use Allura to do profit margins, to research pricing, to make sure you're pricing your stuff competitively. Don't price it too low. That's a race to the bottom. It's okay to price stuff middle of the road or even high if that is warranted by the quality of your products, the quality of your materials, the quality of your item. You can list stuff higher. Perceived quality comes with pricing. if you're listing your stuff way lower than everyone else, people are going to perceive the quality as poor, and it's not necessarily going to help you sell more, usually, which is surprising to people, but they miss that fact. Yeah, there is perceived quality. When I go to the dollar store, I don't expect to get high quality items. I expect to get garbage stuff. So think about that when you're pricing your items, but use resources such as Zalora to come up with good pricing, competitive pricing. You can research pricing by keyword. You can research pricing by competitors. All that is done through there. And then you can do the profit margin calculator to see the fees and stuff. And make sure, for the love of God, make sure that you have a decent profit margin. That's something that maybe I should have talked about in an earlier step. But if this is something, it's part of the deconstruction. If it's something, once you start researching the supplies and you can't get the supplies that cheap, think about what you can sell the item for. If your profit margin is like 5%, it's not even going to be worth your time. Shoot for a 50% or above profit margin, because it'll give you wiggle room. It'll give you wiggle room to run sales. It'll give you just more revenue, more skin in the game to keep going. If you're starting out with a super small profit margin, which a lot of people do, they don't think about this, then you're not going to have any wiggle room for sales. You're not going to have any wiggle room for promotions. You're not going to have any wiggle room when fees change or supply costs increase. You're going to be losing money at the drop of a dime, and that's the mistake that a lot of people make. So go in this with a decent profit margin to start. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth your time. You're not going to be making any money, and it's not going to be worth doing. No matter how much fun or how much passion you have, money will help sustain your business and keep you going. All right, so you launched your business. Step 7 is all about mindset and perception, expectations. This is going to be delayed gratification for you. You're not going to open your business and have sales the next day. I'm sorry. That's just 99.9% of the time that does not happen. You're probably not going to have sales within the first couple months. Maybe within the first year, you may not have sales. It's going to take time. You're going to put in all this work up front and you're not going to get any sales. It's going to be delayed gratification. And this is where most people close down their shop, get frustrated, and stop, because they want that quick instant success, the quick instant social media success, and it just doesn't come. You have to continue to put in work day after day after day, refining your business, creating more listings, changing around your SEO. And you may not see any results for months and months. And that's where people are like, well, Etsy doesn't work. This isn't going to work for me. I'm in my niche is there's too much competition. Any other excuse that you want to throw out the door. And then you're just convincing yourself to quit, which I will never, condone that, because I know that it is delayed gratification. If you just keep going, you will start to see success, whether that comes in more visits, and then more visits will eventually turn into sales, and then more sales will turn into more sales as you keep going. Not to mention, you're going to learn by getting that data, getting the feedback, the insight from the stats, from reviews, different things like that. So have the right mindset that this is going to be delayed, and you're going to have to put in a lot of more work up front before you start seeing the results that you want to see. And I think this is probably the most important step and the most important thing that I want to drive home. Even if you started your own business now and you've been at it for a while, just know that it's going to take time. It's not overnight. And in today's society, it's very hard for people to wait. It's very hard for them to wait for that delayed gratification that will ultimately come if you just keep going. So that is it for this episode. Make sure you guys get that quick start guide. That'll pair nicely with this episode at handmadeandbeyond.com/quick start. Hopefully this helps you guys out, especially if you're in the early stages of wanting to start an Etsy business. I would always encourage you to do this. You can absolutely do this, but this will help lay the groundwork and the foundation so that you can find success a lot sooner and avoid a lot of frustration that may come if you're just kind of shooting in the dark. I'll be back really soon with another good episode for you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day.